Hello everyone. We are talking about the sensors in this lecture. So it is a part of the fundamentals of IoT. Before we go to this sensor, like there is a second topic that we are going to discuss in fundamentals of IoT first unit. Okay. So we have already seen what is an IoT. That is Internet of Things. Now let us try to understand that what are the essential building blocks of Internet of Things. Generally speaking, a sensor is a device that is able to detect changes in an environment. Right? So before we know, we'll understand what exactly a sensor is. We'll see what are the essential components, essential things that are required in IoT. Okay. So one of the very essential components of Internet of Things is sensors, and the other one is actuators. Whereas sensors basically sense the physical phenomena that are occurring around them, and the actuators basically used on the sensed information. The actuators, they actuate. That means they perform some actions on the physical environment. They take some actions based on what has been sensed. Means whatever a sensor that are able to sense the physical phenomena, that sensed things can be given some action to the actuator so that it can perform. So generally, a sensor is useless, but when we use it in an electronic system, it plays a key role. A sensor is able to measure a physical phenomenon, okay, like temperature, pressure, and so on, and transform it into an electric signal. This is what a sensor is. Because of a good sensor, it should be sensitive to the phenomenon that is measured. It should not be sensitive to other physical phenomena, and it should not modify measured phenomena during the measurement process. Okay. See, let us take an example. What will happen if the sensed information are going to send to the connected system? That means over the network, the information will be passed. It can also involve cloud and so on and family. That information is going to be transmitted based on what has been sensed, and based on the requirements, some physical action is going to be taken on the action. Some of the examples, like as we are talking about like temperature or pressure, like that. Maybe a bulb might be turned on or off in certain conditions, and in the agricultural field has helped maybe to maybe like sorry for the disturbance. Maybe if the field based on the sensors, it is found out that in agriculture field, the field has run out of the segment water, that is field of the paddy crop. So that can be done through the process of actuation. So we have sensing, we have IoT, and simply the network, and then we have this actuation. So sensing network actuation, we start with the sensing component. Okay, a sensor detects or changes in the ambiguous conditions or state of another device or a system. And forwards the processes this information in a certain manner. A device which detects or measures a physical property and records indicators or otherwise responds on it. When we talk about the sensing, we need to understand what is sensing. So basically, the sensor detects or senses the changes in the ambiguous conditions, or it can also sense the state of another device. So maybe one sensor can check, can sense how and what it is state of another device. So This is what done when with the help of sensing. So some physical property of the ambient conditions of an environment in which the sensor is and or the other machine in or the machine or other system to separate one. This can be sensed with the help of sensor. Okay. The better term for a sensor is a transducer. A transducer is any physical device that converts one form of energy into another. So, in the case of the sensor, the transducer converts some physical phenomenon into an electrical impulse that determines the reading. For example, a microphone is a sensor that takes vibrational energy and converts it into electrical energy in a useful way for another component in the system to correlate back to the original sound. Now, actuators. Another type of transducer that you will encounter in many IoT systems is an actuator. In simple terms, the actuator operates in a reverse direction of the sensor. It takes the electrical input and turns it into physical action. For instance, an electric motor or hydraulic system and a pneumatic system are all different types of actuators. So this is what the flow of a sensor to an actuator. Suppose we are considering as a temperature as our example. The sensor temperature, the temperature sensor detects heat. Later, it sends the detected signals to the control center. Now, this center is responsible to give some actions to the command or actions to the device. Saying control center sends some command to sprinkle. So now the sprinkler turns on the on and puts the flame. Okay, this is what the flow from sensor to actuator. Now, when we talk about controller, in a typical IoT system, a sensor may collect information and route to a control center. Their previously defined logic detects a division. As a result, a corresponding component control an actuator in response to that sensed input. Thank you. This is about the sensors and actuators. We'll discuss the next topic in our next lecture. Thank you.